Death in Minecraft is unavoidable. But what can we as command block creators do to acknowledge the loss of life and time? That is what we are going to answer here today, guys. I am sorry for sounding so serious. Today we are going to be covering how to make anything happen where the player died. So the core kind of concept here lies with the new data that was added, which is the death location MBT data. So this MBT data stores the dimension and the location where the player last died, and using that MBT data, you can move your commands over to where the last death location occurred. And in this case, I just put a sign that says, "Here lies Cloudwolf." But in your case, you may want to, I don't know, put a chest down, do something with the items, remove the XP. I don't know what you'd want to do, but you can do anything. So we're going to just cover the simple commands that can accomplish this using a data pack. So as I stated before, this is going to be done using a data pack. So in the description, there will be a download to a GitHub link, which has my starter pack. This is a data pack that I constantly update so that it matches the latest version, and it contains a variety of loot tables and advancements that may be useful when you're just starting a new data pack, and I use it personally for everything. So we're going to take the starter pack, we're going to rename it to on death, and you can see that I've already coded this once, so I'm just going to call this on death. And then I'm going to go into the data folder and change the namespace to on death. Okay, so now when I call functions, they will be on death : whatever it's called. Now we don't need any loot tables or recipes for this, so let's get rid of those. And we don't need any block tags, so let's get rid of those. Now we will need some load and tick functions, so let's go ahead and specify that the tick function will be on death : main, and the load function will be on death : init, which means initialize. So now if we go back into here and we go into on death, now we can go into the advancements we don't need and the tags folder we don't need because we're just doing functions here. And inside functions, we have init and main. So inside of init, what we're going to do is we're going to make a scoreboard to detect when the player dies. To do that, we are going to do scoreboard objectives add death, and we're going to make a death count objective criteria. And then we're going to do scoreboard objectives add HP health. So the reason that we want to have a death count is to, obviously it will count up when a player dies, and we can do something when that number reaches 1. The reason we want to have an HP score is because for various reasons, you might want to just do things after the player already respawns. So that HP score is going to be 0 until they actually click the respawn button. Now, this could be kind of a overcomplication that I'm adding in, but it's part of my superstition with having worked with commands for 7 years. And in the past, it has been a problem. So we're adding it here anyways. And it's not a big deal to have. So we are going to do execute as at a scores equals death equals 1. So if they have at least 1 death, and if their HP is at least 1, which means that they probably have respawned. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that typically you can have some complications with trying to do something right when the player dies, because when they're dead and they haven't clicked the button respawn, they actually have they aren't selectable with selectors. So this at a selector won't usually find them, or in the past it hasn't. So that's why this last death position is a useful MBT for doing this, because you can kind of guarantee that you will be able to do something where the player died 100%. No issues with selectors or delay or player not clicking respawn in time or player going to title screen. No issues with that. So anyways, we can go ahead and go run function and then on death : and then died. So this is just what to do when a player dies. So when a player has died, we are going to reset their death score. So scoreboard players set as death 0. Okay, and then we are going to want to navigate over to the location where they died. So in order to do that, it's a little bit more complicated than directly copying the position to something, because the chunk could be unloaded, probably not immediately after someone dies, but it could be. And also the other thing to note is that the MBT are integers, as we looked at earlier. So position is stored as a double, and these are integers. So you need to be able to copy those over. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to copy the death position to a data storage to hold it for later. So we're going to have a death storage, and we're going to have something called position, and we're going to set that from, and we're going to copy the integer over to the death storage. But at this stage, we're actually going to copy it as a double. So in order to do a type conversion, we're going to do execute store results storage death position at 0 as a double 1.0, so same scale, so same number, just converts it to a double. Run data get entity as last death location dot pause at 0, because that is the structure of the MBT we looked at earlier. And we need to do this. That is the X coordinate, the 1th position is the Y coordinate, and the 2nd position is the Z coordinate. So that copies it and turns it into a double, which is something we can use for later. So now we're going to do summon marker, which is a entity that is only on the server side and also is the most efficient entity in the game for marking a location. So this entity is going to be just called death, okay? And we are going to do execute as at e type equals marker tag equals death, and then we are going to run another function as that entity. And the importance of doing this additional step here is because if this entity is moved into an unloaded chunk, you will not be able to use this selector to find it anymore. However, at S will still be able to find it because it already found it. It is itself. So that is a very important indication, is we are using a second function to allow you to select entities that are in unloaded chunks. So we are going to have this as on death colon at pause. So you're at that. This command will be, this function will be run at the location. And one other thing we're going to do is we're going to do tag add s add this, so we still remember who the player is in this interaction, because we changed what add s is. It's no longer the player, it is now the marker. So we want to remember who the player is, so we're going to give them a tag, and then we are going to take a tag away from them after we're done doing this function. So in this function, we are going to have a couple of things happen. So first, we're going to do data modify entity at s pause, which is their position, set from storage death pause. Okay, so we are just copying this double onto this double. All right, and now anytime we do execute at s, it will do something at that death location. So we will do run set block cobblestone slab, and we will do run set block oak wall sign. And the oak wall sign can have some strings in it to indicate that text on the sign. Okay, so now we can just do a couple things. We can go kill at s, so we can get rid of the marker. And that is really all you need to do. So let's type /reload in game, do /datapack list to see that we have the on death score, and now let's do /kill. And you will see that, oh, nothing happened. And the reason for that is inside the init function, we need to initialize that place where we're storing the data, because right now it has nothing. So we're going to do data modify storage death pause set value, and we're going to set it to 3 doubles. And now we have initialized that, we can kill ourselves, and boom, we get it. Here lies Cloudwolf. So that is the full data pack. I will have a link to my starter pack in the description. I don't think I will have a link to the data pack download in the description, because it is like only 12 or 13 commands, and it's important to know why we did those commands and why they're there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. If you liked that, please leave a like or subscribe and let me know what you want to see next. Peace.